Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm back down here at the church. I don't have a history lesson prepared for you, but I do have some context, I guess. Is that right? Yeah. I had a local person who saw one of the videos and was asking a bunch of questions. Like they don't go to this church, they don't know what it's like, and they couldn't really understand when I showed you the inside of the building, how any of that worked, how the bell ringing, where the rope was, all sorts of stuff. So I'm gonna go in. I gotta go up in the belfry and do some cleaning. I've already been back here once that I didn't take a video of. I'll show you what I did up there. It's quite a mess. But anyways, we're getting through it, and I'm gonna go up and hopefully finish the cleaning tonight. You can see winter is back. In fact, today we had 3 seasons all in one day. Nice thing about weather in the upstate New York area is if you don't like it, just wait a couple minutes. It's bound to change. So today we got it all. But we're gonna go inside here and we're gonna get some context, I guess, of what I'm talking about. I'll show you what I mean. So for starters, I'm standing on Main Street right now, looking at the front of the building, what everybody sees when they drive by, right? Oh, I should probably try to figure out how to straighten that weather vane up there if I could. Anyways, so this is the front of the building, and obviously the belfry is on the front end of the building. So I'm gonna go inside and show you how that all correlates to the rest of the building. All right, so here's the inside of the sanctuary of the church, just like I showed you last time. I received some questions and I wanted to just clarify a few things. Not that it really matters, but when I go up to the belfry and I'm walking along that long walkway, that walkway is directly above this flat ceiling up here. So it's the highest point, you know. So this is, people that are in here, I think the reason this person was confused was because when they're in here, they assume that when you look up, you're looking at the inside of the roof, like a normal building might be, but that's not the case. This is all just plaster, just for show, well, and insulation. But when you look up, what you're seeing is just pretty, you know, and then above it is a whole nother structure, which is the actual roof, which you can see from outdoors. Obviously, it's a different shape. It's just a peak, you know, and this is not. So when you're walking along this top flat section above it, and when you look down to the side, you're looking down like there's this one angled section and then a straight drop off, and then there's another angled section, and you can see all that from above when you're up there. It's kind of neat the way the building is built. There's a lot of detail that went into it just to make it pretty, you know. And then as far as so this big window, that's facing Main Street, where I just was looking from the outside in. That's what you'd call the front of the building normally. So that's Main Street. That's the side. So the belfry is right up straight over our heads here. And you know, it's in the center and it's straight up almost on the end wall, straight up there. And I had showed you the rope from up there to ring the bell, but it's unhooked. Normally it's hooked up here. This is the rope, and I'll go up the stairs. The rope goes up through this opening, you know, it's like a spiral stair, and the rope keeps going up through the ceiling right there, through a hole. And then the rest is what you can see from up above that I showed you. So this is the balcony. So again, Main Street. And that's the view of the building. And this gives you being up here gives you a little better feel for, you know, what the shape of this building is. It's pretty interesting. And then out here on the edges, you know, it's like that. And you're gonna see when we get upstairs, you're looking at the top side of all that. These details, I don't know for sure, but I think they're just for looks. I think they're wood with a whole lot of plaster over them just to make them pretty. And here's a little church trivia for you. I don't know if it's all churches. I think it is, or most churches anyways. There's always something left unfinished. They say just as God's work is never done, there's always a detail missing in a church. And when they're old, it gets hard to tell because, things get broken and it's too costly to repair them. For example, the missing piece of trim work on this cornice here, but that's not it. But in this church, there is one very obvious thing that is not finished that was left that way intentionally. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I will show you the whole building. And if you really don't have anything better to do, you can play this video back, and I promise you, I have showed it on the video. So if you're that person, let me know if you find it. I'll tell you if you're right. All right, I'm gonna go back up through the maze, back up there, and I've got a bunch of bird manure to shovel. Yay. All right, we're back up in the attic space above the building. I just wanted to stop here. I've just come up through the hole in the floor, ceiling, floor, whatever. And I just wanted to point out that this thing, this little bump out here is the cove that the organ is in. So when we were down there, and you could see that the organ was kind of set back in a little area. That's the area. They built that because originally the building didn't have an organ. There was huge political strife when they put an organ in because the organ was the devil and stuff. So people left the church over it, But anyways, they built this nook here just to house that new organ. So that kind of gives you the orientation of where we're at. We're just behind the big sanctuary right now, but I just wanted to point that out. Last time I was up, like I said, I was up once. I didn't make any video, and I just shoveled bird manure, and on my way down I found several light bulbs that were blown, so I replaced them, and it's gotten much brighter, much more civilized up here. Here's the platform, right? So right now I just stepped hold on, let me put my stuff down. So here's the all of that is all bat droppings. There's a lot of bats that make their home here. So right now I'm standing above the ceiling. And then if you look down here, so I'm looking over the edge of the railing here. This is the first slope ceiling that had those big round fancy vent things in it. And then there's a drop off there, which is the little bit of a vertical wall that there was. And then down below, it sloped a different angle, and that's that other. Oh, there goes a bat right there. Just flew by. Down below, yeah. Down below is that other slope. Oh, that shows up in the camera, but there's a bat down there walking around on the wall. Probably doesn't show. That's too bad. He was a big one. So anyway, this is the top side of all of that, and then all of these big heavy timbers, that's the structure that it takes to make all that happen. So there's the actual structure, the part that you see from outdoors that keeps the rain out, and then there's the inner structure that essentially holds up all of the pretty stuff that's inside the church. It's a ton of extra work just to make it you know, that particular style of a building. Very cool. It's a lot of extra, and I'm glad they did it. Now, years ago, in old pictures, and we're going way back, every place where there was one of those vents in the ceiling, when you look up from down below, above them was an eyebrow on the roof, an eyebrow vent that, you know, stuck out just a little bit. And I think that was all about good ventilation in the summer. And then these, you can see that old pulley right there. They were scattered down through here. I don't know if they're all still here or not, but those, I'm quite certain, were to open a door that covered those vents, so that in the winter you could close them and in the summer you could open them. In fact, we recreated that a few years ago down on that end just as a test, and it works really well, because these were all sealed and insulated over, and somebody made doors, and we close them in the winter, open them in the summer, and it's made it much nicer in the summertime in the church. But I think that crooked 2x6 or whatever right there, I don't know for sure, but I think that is part of the remains of one of those eyebrow vents. Okay, I'm gonna move on down and get up in the belfry and get some work done. I'll see, maybe I can get just some decent video up there of what's going on and where we're at right now. All right, I'm back in the belfry, which, by the way, is freezing cold. We were almost 60 degrees when I got out of bed this morning, and we're in the 20s now, and the wind is howling up here. Unpleasant. Got a little snow blown in. But I was here the other day, and I cleaned for 3 hours. And I cleaned from there, around here, into this corner, and around the corner. That's it. Because it's really slow going. You can't really just dig in with the shovel. You got to pick away and very slowly with a little shovel. I did bring a bigger one today, but it might be too big. I'm going to attempt to clean the rest of this today, because I'm almost halfway. Probably won't make it, but I did do the math finally, because, you know, math's not my thing. But the bell was cast in 1863. That doesn't mean it was put up here in 1863. But if it was, it's been here for 160 years. I don't know if I'm sure it has been cleaned. In fact, I know that it's been cleaned because buried underneath at the very bottom of all the crud was a little old dustpan and a little broom. So at some point, somebody kept it clean. But it was a long time ago. The dustpan and the broom were very, very old. But you can see over here is clean. And then that's what has to come out, is that much, we'll call it crud. There's about 1,000 bird skeletons. There's a great deal of bird feces. And there's quite a bit of straw still, you can see on the top. But that's not very thick. Most of it is either rotted straw or dead birds or bird parts. And old paint cans. Lots of old paint cans. They must have never wanted to carry them down with them, or something. Maybe they left them so they could dry and not make a mess, and then they just never came back for them. I don't know. But there's a lot of them up here buried in the hay. So they're many, many, many years old. But yeah, it's pretty nasty, and it can't be helping this tin, because underneath here is all tin that's formed. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you kind of can. It's formed like a roof. It slopes out so the water goes back out through the louvers at the very bottom. And the corners here are high so that the water is forced to go back out that way. It's pretty cool. Pretty elaborate. And the wood, any place where there's wood that meets the tin, it's black. So it's coated with, you know, some sort of a tar or probably some sort of cancer-causing agent that is also very good at keeping the water out, because the boards aren't rotten. And I mean, like this one over here was right up to the top here with crud. You know, you couldn't even see those lower vents down there. They were completely filled up. So there was a lot of stuff on there, and I got to assume that held, although it's very dry now, there must be certain times it gets moisture in it and holds it for a while. So it can't be helping this metal under here to have all this crud on it. I hope I'm right in that. I hope I'm doing the right thing by taking it out, but it seems like it must be the right thing to do. So I'm going to get at it. I'm going to, hopefully I can get this thing clean. Last time I was up here, my friend Russell came up with me. He's a woodworking kind of guy, and he thinks he can fix this wheel. We got looking at it, and it's actually only 2 pieces on it that are broken, and that's what's causing all of the jankiness. So he thinks that once I have that wheel off, he will be able to take it apart and remake the 2 pieces that are bad and get it back together. So we'll see. And I think, judging by what we saw, once that's fixed, I think all these other scabs probably won't be needed anymore. We can put it back the way it was, and everything will be back to normal up here. I think those scabs were all to fix the 2 things we found that were broken. So that's it. I got to get to work because I'm going to get out of daylight up here pretty soon. Wow, that was great fun. Join me next time as I hit my hand with a hammer repeatedly while clipping vice grips onto the bridge of my nose. That was pretty awful, but it's done. I got all that well, now here's the trick. I say it's done. All I've done is shoveled it from here down to there. Now I've still got to go down there, scoop it all up, carry it all the way out and down and out and down and down and out and down and around and down and then out and then down and then out and into my truck. What have I done? It's great. It's great. It's a good job to have done, right? That's how I'm looking at it. It needed doing, and I'm doing it. So I was gonna show you around here, but it's just too dark, and the lighting, my flashlight just doesn't take a very good video. So I'm just gonna leave you with it, and next time I come back, it'll be daylight, and I can show you where we're at so far. I've got to get some nice, if I can, I got to try to get some nice before pictures of this thing before I tear it apart. I always forget to do that. I never take the pictures, and then people are like, yeah, it looks good. Probably look like that the whole time. Why are you wasting all your time on it? I don't understand it. You're wasting time. Are you sitting up there drinking? Oh, that reminds me, hold on, this is something that I thought for sure I would find up here. Let me tell you a little story. Okay. Argyle never came out of Prohibition until 2020, I think, just a few years ago anyways. Finally, Argyle got voted to sell alcohol in town. Up until then, since Prohibition, Argyle was what they call a dry town, no alcohol. And a lot of people, especially way back in the day, I mean, it would be the reason why Argyle stayed dry, because a lot of people were teetotalers. They did not drink. They didn't like drinking. They thought drinking was bad. Of course, a lot of people drank a lot too, but so I'm thinking as I'm working up here, this is just a guy think, really, but I'm thinking this would be a great place to stash a bottle of booze if you know, I gotta go work at the church, honey. She'd never suspect a thing. Look what I found. I knew it. I knew there'd be one. I mean, this thing is old. It's got a cork still in it. It's empty, though. I was thinking if there's anything in there, I might take a snort, but I'm not gonna. But that's a liquor bottle. I'm 99.999% sure. I did also find a couple of other bottles that may or may not be liquor bottles of some sort. I'm gonna take them home, clean them up, see if maybe I can read what they say on them or something. We'll see what they are, but I found somebody's stash from a long time ago. So that's interesting. Aside from that, there was nothing interesting for me to report tonight. I'm sorry. I'm gonna catch you next time. I want to thank you though for spending your time with me. Look around on my channel, see if there's other things you like. Please click subscribe. What do I have to do for you people? Just it's right there. Just click on it. All right, do it. Tell your friends to do it. Tell your friends they should be watching regularly the Town Tinker, because he's just like the village idiot with bird poop down his pants. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching. Come back and see me again. Get out and do something nice for your neighbors. It feels good. Okay? God bless you. God bless the United States of America.